Here we go. Recording in progress. That's my cue. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Thank you, Elitom, for your patience as well. I'm so, so happy that we're all gathered here again. Wow. This has been an amazing festival. And it's moments like this that we get to gather together, feel the energy, feel the vibration of everything that we've been absorbing throughout all of these days. I know that all of you are feeling like maybe the mental is a bit full, but also our energy has been really replenished. Yeah, we've been nourished here in so many ways. And I know that this next talk is going to nourish us again so deeply. It's my great pleasure. Elitom has been a real great inspiration for me, for many other people. He has facilitated facilitators. He has been guiding people and inspiring people on the pranic path, solar breatharian journey for so many years. And I know that what he shares with us is going to also deeply nourish all of us. So thank you so much, Elitom, for joining us at the Pranic World Festival. I know that being the worst example ever for how fast we're supposed to talk, I just realized. So I'm going to slow myself down. And this is about the speed that we want to talk for the translators. So we're going to slow it down, even though we're lifting off. We're going to have a nice slow speed to this and pauses every once in a while so the translators can translate your words and we can broadcast it around the world. Thank you so much, Elitom. Welcome to the Pranic Festival.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much, solar beings. It's time for us to get nourished. Now, today we'll be talking about the solar breatharian energy transfer. We all heard everything is energy. However, there's another layer to it. Energy always converts itself into something else that's needed or the system is being used for. And we can celebrate humanity because we are good at manufacturing and exploiting these energies for what's needed. Now, our lives require a lot of energy. And our bodies and mind requires a lot of energy all the time. We even use energy when we're sleeping. So this is very important for a person on a journey to learn how to align themselves with these energetic forces. Now, there's two types of energy: potential energy, energy in stillness, and there's kinetic energy, energy in movement. But the way it moves through the atmosphere, we got many forms of energy. Example, electromagnetic energy, thermal energy, molecular energy, etc. Now let's take a look at the molecular energy. The molecule actually has energy, powerful energy inside of it. How do we extract the energy from the molecule? One way to get the energy is to burn it. Give you an example. You got a log, a piece of wood. We take fire and put it to the wood. Then soon the chemical energy of the molecules of the wood is going to be released. Then it transforms itself into thermal energy. So even though we say everything is energy, it makes different transitions on how we use it. Now let's take it further. Where did the wood get that stored chemical energy in its molecules? Because the wood was room temperature at first. Well, the wood used to be a tree. And when it was a tree, the sun stored solar energy within the molecules of the tree. And then when it was wood, the stored energy was still there. And we as humans learned how to extract the chemical energy out of the molecules and transform it into thermal energy. And it's like this with everything. Energy transformation. Now let's give us an example of us. When the photons make contact with the skin, it activates the chemical in cholesterol in our skin to absorb the light. Then it makes another transformation and releases hormones that we call hormone D or vitamin D. So what we're learning is all of these different conversions of one force is needed to fuel life. That's why I told a person one time, don't fast indoors under the air conditioner, because you want to put your body in a location where it can get with other elements to bring off better chemical reactions. You get negative ions from nature. You get electrons from the earth. You get the photons from the sun. And then we're breathing in solar energy. It's a lot more stronger for the organism so it can sustain itself. But we must put our bodies into those situations so it can thrive, sustain itself. Oh, this is good. Now let's take it further. Energy transformation. So now, let me give you one more analogy. Sort of like a locomotive engine. Again, we burn the coal or the wood. We extract the chemical energy to heat up the water. We change the vibrations of the water to heat up, to build up pressure. And when it evaporates into steam, it turns into mechanical energy to turn the wheels. There's things we take for granted, but your body is able to transform and manufacture the energies it needs when it's used properly. Energy transformation. So now we know if you're going to give up one energy source, which we call the denser food, there's no need giving that up if you have not made stronger connections with the other energetic forces to produce the food that you need. This is why I teach energy cultivation. To cultivate these chain reactions. Because if the organs and the body systems got their energy, the organism will not be affected. But if it don't got its energy, the body's going to talk. This is very important to notice. This is why we say meditation is the foundation, because it's the relaxation response of the body that gives it more atomic energy. Because keep in mind that there's energy in the nucleus of the atom, but it needs to be extracted. All this is good. So now I'll read something to you. There's 3 meditations that I usually specialize in. The microcosmic orbit. I specialize in Qigong. And I tell people the benefits of their nose. It's one of the best organs on the body. Breathing. So now let's go to the microcosmic orbit. Listen at what they say. Regular practice of the microcosmic orbit will bring greater energy, ease, and peace throughout the body and mind. This is how you get the energy. It's a food. When you allow it to come into the body consciously. See, spiritual practices have a lot of power when a person knows what they're for. But if you just think there's no requirement on our part to make this process, there's going to be problems with the system. But it's our responsibility to make contact with these energy sources so we can get the fullness out of it to keep the body alive. That's why we're doing it. If a person spends an hour eating a meal, when you make this lifestyle change, you'll be spending an hour allowing the energy to come into the body. It's just to shift over to another energy source. Now, the other transformation of energy with the denser foods, we know that it got broke down, turned into glucose, which is sugar. But the main thing that the human eats is carbohydrates. And the reason why you get energy from it, because there's a combustion process that took place in the body. Your body has thermal energy in it. And it brought the chemical reactions out of the molecules, whether if it was a plant or an animal, but it still did chemical reactions. But that's the old way. Now we're talking about shifting, going directly to the sun, the solar energy that's in the atmosphere, that through good meditation practice, it will bring more energy to the body. Now listen at this. Oh, this is a good one. Microcosmic orbit. It frees up chi, or life force energy. We could stop right there. It frees up the chi. What is chi? Solar energy, prana, life force energy. It's all the same thing, but it's in the atmosphere and it's also in us. So they say it will go in and free up the energy that's already in us, so you can have more energy. This is what we mean by breaking energy blockages in the body. When a blockage is freed up, the organism will have more energy to sustain itself. Now let's take it further. So that the vital force flows around the body, which means better function and energy flow. That's a breath. It must flow around the body to nourish the organs. It get better system flow. If that don't take place, then you're on another journey. See, the French word for energy is calorie. The French word for energy is calorie. And don't today when you read stuff on packages, how many calories, how much energy? But starvation is nothing more than the organism did not have enough calories / energy to feed the organs and keep the body systems going. And there was just a person who had a high level diet of this world, but they'd never talked about it. They just put it all on the food on how they was getting their energy. But they said they died because of starvation, even though they were still eating. That means that their body was not getting enough energy. So it wasn't the diet. Now listen at this to take it a step further. The microcosmic orbit is flowing strong as it becomes energy easier to find harmony between your thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations. It connects you. And it's called the microcosmic orbit because we are miniature representation of the universe. And when you do these practices, this will become your new lifestyle, no matter what happens. This is how you get your energy. It's not just you just do it for a weekend and say, I arrived. This is your new lifestyle. Now let's take it further. Oh man, this is good. And they said, having consistency, you will have a flow of energy that will align and strengthen the body. You won't be weak. You will be strong. Energy is strength. But we must learn to tap into those energies and go get it. Don't wait for it just to come to you. That's not going to happen. Oh, did I say this? Yes. There's a requirement. You're taking on a new lifestyle. So now going into Qigong. That's just one. So this is what it says. Breathing techniques. The breath of life. Very powerful. Movement. Energy loves to move. And you're a system of energy held together by thought. So when you're moving these forces, you are allowing the energy transformations to take place across the body. And meditation. Qigong just means energy exercise, but it prepares you to sit still so the body can charge itself up and loosen up the blockages so the organism can have more energy. Now, the body energy, known as Qi, through Qigong, the individual learns how to cultivate and move the energy more effectively. You will learn how to move the energy more effectively. You will. Just don't let it go its own route. You will. Oh, this is good. To get that energy to get nourished. We went to go buy the food. Went after it. So now the energy is here, but it needs somebody to want it. Oh, man. So this leads to a sense of rejuvenation and vitality. And Qigong can harmonize. It harmonizes everything. Strengthen. And have a healing effect on all the internal organs in the body. That's what it's all about. If the organs don't get their energy, the organism is going to be in a lot of trouble. Living on prana is not fasting. Oh, did I say this? Yeah. Oh, man. Now listen at this. Breathing. Yes, you can change your energy by breathing mindfully. And what does that mean? Well, let's take a look at the breath. The breath, consciousness, and the light are all one. Yoga is about the breath which is the expansion of consciousness. So when you're bringing or allowing more energy to nourish the body system, you're expanding your consciousness. It's connected with everything. And it feels good. It feels good to breathe, to move, to live. No aches and pains, because you know how to remove them now. These practices free up the energy blockages that we put there. And keep in mind, you go gradually and slowly, because the thoughts which make up our habits is actually going through the energy channels of the body. This is why they say your subconscious create 90% of your reality. Actually higher. But sub means below. What's below the head? The body. Your thoughts is coming off the body. So in order to deal with habits that are detrimental, the best way is not trying to cut it out all the way. The best way is to replace it. Replace it. And it's sort of like a flow or a river of energy, water. You're damming it up and redirecting it upwards. Because dealing with how energy works, heat, by its nature, moves up. So you're unlocking the energy in the hips, the lower abdomen, and you're using thermal energy to help detox the body that you already have inside of you. Now, let's take a look at thermal energy. When you're running a car engine, first is room temperature. But the more you keep the engine on and you're running that car, it gets hotter and hotter. So this is why your body is hot inside. It's a bio machine running off of bioelectricity. It's being used. Don't, when a person dies, they say, oh, they're cold. It's not being used no more. It's not functional. So that's why they say, even when you sleep, your body's warm inside because it's still working on its life processes. It don't stop. So on this journey, one is taking part in their evolution, which means change, to start learning about this energy flow and that it will make the different chemical reactions for you. Just like a mudra. This ain't just to look cute. Soon as you make a connection, it brings an energetic circuitry to different organs in the body. It's all about energy. But now it's time to go get that energy and allow it to transform you to give you better longevity and more energy. All this is good. Now that E equals MC squared is actually an idea. It's a mathematical formula of another way to think. You got energy, and then you got mass. You can extract energy from the mass. And all energy has mass, even down to an atom. And the energy is there. A person just have to learn how to exploit the energy out of it to use it. So you got all these energy channels in your body. Wherever your mind goes, the blood flows, the energy goes. Start using it. Open it up. And then maintain it and keep it open. And then you won't feel hungry, whatever that is. Have more energy, more vitality, all of this. And then there'll be a day, it won't even be fasting. You just don't feel like eating. Oh, this is good. But it's about, when we say a lifestyle, it's not a destination, it never ends. As long as you live, your body's going to require a lot of energy. And we're always spending it. And at the same time, you're always absorbing it. And it's just like exercise. Now, exercise is actually insufficient for the body, but the body loves it. It's insufficient because in the body's mind, won't I just keep this stored energy? Why burn it up? And I could use it for later. But when you get the body moving, the blood flowing, oxygenated, storing it in the muscles, storing it in the bone marrow, the whole body gets happy, stronger. And again, you got that energy. But when you take that old route, tape on your mouth, and that use body properly, then about the time you do say, well, I don't feel hungry and this and that, you'd have lost too much weight and it looks bad. What you do is you build up first that other connection, make it strong. And then you slowly and gradually give up the other. That's why we're hybrids. Keep that in mind. Hybrids. You can use fossil fuels, or you can strengthen your bioelectric energy and run off of that, which is solar power. This is why they call us the children of the sun. Oh man, this is good. This message been on my mind for 3 days. So once again, any questions?
Yes, thank you, Elitom. I'm sure there are many questions here. We've got, some hands up already. You want to start with questions now? We're ready to go?
Oh, yes.
Awesome. I have a first question coming from online. Someone would like to know about energy that we are absorbing directly from the sun, and the role that melatonin plays in that, please.
Oh, wonderful. Now, when we say the sun, a person thinks they got to go directly under it because we got sun gazing. But our atmosphere is here because of the sun. And even at night, the sun is still there because you're in an electromagnetic field of the sun. And when you deal with the electromagnetic spectrum, a radio wave is light. I told a woman that lived up in Iceland, yeah, but the sun ain't hardly up there. And I said, well, you got a radio up there, don't you? That means the light waves is already there. See, you're extracting and using the light, the energy that's in the atmosphere, the light that's in the atmosphere. This is what we're talking about. Now, melatonin, that's another good one. Because in the daytime, our bodies are so connected with the cosmic forces. When the sun rises up where you're located, your pineal gland releases serotonin in the blood. Here we go again. No food. It was just an interaction. And then when the sun leaves, it releases melatonin. So the body is already consecrated to the external forces. This is what we're talking about. You are learning how to use the body now to get what it needs. Someone won't bother you later saying, we got to go get it this way. Because physical food is easy to get. Right. You know, it's available compared to the solar, how should we say? The subtle forces is easy to get once the person got the knowledge. But when they don't got the knowledge, they're out of cycle, out of alignment. So I hope I answered that question.
Fantastic. Thank you, Elitom. Yes, we've got many more questions. So we'll just line up some from our live audience here.
Hello, Elitom. It's a pleasure to see you smiling there. And I was wondering if, like from your perspective, it's easier to live like this energy engine, so pranic lifestyle, more like in a natural place, like nature, or if there is a difference in the city. So like this kind of difference from the environment where we live.
Oh, of course. Now, even though everything is energy and energy is everywhere, everything is energy and energy is everywhere, there's some environments and people that are more nutritious than others. Now, when you first start out and the thoughts are still weak, you could be in certain situations, and if you stay there too long, it influences you back. That can happen. But when you get stronger, you could go in any situation because you got more wise, you got more discipline and control over the organism. And I'm glad you brought that up. Let's go back to the thoughts. And I said, every habit, which is a thought, has its own energy channel going through the body. And it's connected with the external environment, creating our reality. And it's like an invisible chain. And it's going off of the laws of nature. So a person is sort of like a slave to that habit, which we call karma. But it's a law, it's a thought. So when you say different environments, it don't matter what environment if the thought didn't get changed. So that's why that's a whole nother lesson when we're dealing with these thoughts again, on slowly and gradually breaking those invisible chains. So anywhere you go, it won't affect you no more like somebody else or like it used to. I hope I answered that right.
Everybody's here saying yes, and thank you, Elitom. Someone online, I'll kind of switch back and forth between live audience and online. Online, somebody would like to know that we know that it's a kind of a journey that has a lot of movement to it when we're going on solar breatharian path. Someone would like to know what your current relationship is in terms of your daily or weekly routines in regards to what you're consuming, liquid or solids at this time.
Oh, well, right now, nothing. Right. See, actually, the benefit of this is right now I'm trekking Africa. And it's easier to trek when you don't got to look for food and you're out there like that. So once you develop this ability, you use the ability. You can use it anytime. So right now, I can do a lot more space by working my solar power. You got it now. So my current status is I'm doing this trip, and plus I need my energy a certain way so it can lead me to the right situations and the right people. Because keep in mind, your body is the most advanced science and technology on the planet. So right now I'm using everything I got because I'm in a land that I've never been before.
Wow, bravo, Elitom. Who here is following Elitom's trek across Africa on social media? Yeah, we've got a few people. Yes, awesome. Another question from live audience.
Look, just 5 minutes before your speech, I was writing down all the ways that one can generate prana. And so your speech comes to like a blessing. The question that I have is, so you've mentioned molecular energy, thermal energy, mechanical energy being expressions of prana, different forms of it. My question is, do you see light as an expression of prana or light being prana itself?
Oh, well, let's look at this. We got what you call an electromagnetic field. And what that means is, and it's propagating through the electromagnetic spectrum. And that just means it's going back and forth, the electric side, the magnetism side. The electric side, because the higher the electricity, the higher the magnetism, and the higher the magnetism, the higher the electricity. Now, when you deal with the electromagnetic spectrum, you got your microwave, your infrared wave. Oh, let me slow down. You got your visible light, your UV light, your X-ray, your gamma wave, but all of them are light. They're just at different frequencies, but all of them is light. So what we're saying is, look at that way of thought. You said different forms of chi. But it's still the same thing. It's all the same thing. It's just manifesting itself differently. And it's going off of the laws of physics. That's just physics. I hope I answered that right.
Another question here.
Hey, Elitom.
Hey.
Nice to see you again.
Good to be seen.
David here.
All right.
Yeah, remember? Yeah, I had long hair then. Yeah. Well, I was wondering how it is with our spirit that is incarnating in the body and how much prana we are actually accessing out of that golden light coming in, and where it is teaching us. It's a little bit embedded in one question in two. So when this pranic active energy is running through the body, basically, and you're walking around experiencing life, and then suddenly there's something you're experiencing that is maybe not lowering, or that is kind of you're depleting, or you're falling out, or you just maybe need to rest or something, and then you maybe just eat something or whatever, and then the whole cycle starts. Is this a teaching from the higher self, or the spirit to just learn? And then, yeah, this maybe it's not so clear what I'm saying here, but
I know what you're saying, and that's what a lot of people think. It's expected for a person to, how should I say, this is coming from me. It's expected for you to go through a transformation and don't have high expectations. Because let's talk about neurotransmitters of these thought processes in the body. The more you do something, the stronger it becomes. And that sort of like neuroplasticity. If you start learning a new skill, you start making new neural pathways. Now, eating on this journey, because people be wanting to beat up on themselves. A person been eating all of their life for decades. That is a strong neural pathway. And not only eating, everybody don't like the same foods. So there might be one food that's easier to get rid of because the neural pathway ain't that strong, but the other one is strong. So when you're saying something wants you to learn something, they ain't got nothing to do with that. It's just to know the situation you're in, that invisible chain again. And what I said was replace it. So, because when you replace it with something, it's more sustainable for the long run. Instead of just saying, I shut it down, but it's not released all the way yet. And usually I see people start binge eating because that neural pathway never got dealt with. And what I mean by change it with something, get something a little lighter. But stay on the cycle of getting the body and the organs used through the meditations I told you. All of them will work. And then the neural pathways in the body is getting a new habit, a new flow of energy. But this is what the journey's all about. Slowly and gradually, not letting everything up at once. Let me do this right now. Okay, we got that one. Let me do that. I hope I answered this right.
Thank you, Elitom. More questions. We had one over here. Yeah. We got the thumbs up for that answer. Thank you.
I want him to see me. Hello. What an honor to meet you. My question goes, oh yeah. I have a question about producing prana from within. So I read about monks that let themselves buried alive. So they are under the earth without oxygen, without sunlight. And then they survive and then they get buried out again. And I'm curious what your thoughts about this is, like if we can go underwater and just without air, just still live from prana from within. That's my question.
There is a technique that comes after not eating, and that is going into the breathless state. And that's a whole nother lesson in itself. But what you're doing is, through practice, you're building up, how should I say? See, with the non-eating, I'll start there. You are making the lungs the primary digestive system, and the intestines the second. But then when you go into the non-breathing, you build up enough, how should we say, light in the chambers of the ventricles of the brain. And that's where you start learning the techniques of breathing through the crown chakra, because you got more energy buildup going through the spinal cord. because oxygen is thicker here at the bottom. And you are actually influencing, when you gain enough energy, the ionosphere. That's way up there where the oxygen is less, but it's not about the oxygen. It's about the light again. So as you keep building and growing and build up the light, then those other, how should we say, techniques or technologies will open up to you. But that's on another energy buildup, but it's all dealing with the light again, because oxygen is just a gas, right? You could go way beyond that. Now, I hope I answered that on that one.
So we can breathe not just air, but energy.
Well, you breathe in energy now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had a question from someone online asking how do they breathe during the day for energy? So I think you've addressed this a little bit, but do you have anything else to say about that?
Oh, yes, I do. When you see a baby breathing when it's asleep, when it breathes in, its stomach comes out. And when it breathes out, its stomach comes in. That is diaphragm breathing. A baby is doing proper breathing, because the diaphragm, by its being bipedal creatures, is going up and down. It's a muscle. And it helps you with your immune system, your digestive system. What hurts people as they get older, it get more stress and tension on the body. They lose that proper breathing, and the breathing goes more upwards. Because I got people now, when I be showing them how to just do diaphragm breathing, it hurts them at first because they haven't been breathing like that. A nice rhythm, because your body's always breathing in rhythm. So you're learning how to just consciously, naturally breathe till it becomes second nature. Diaphragm breathing. Now, they got many breathwork techniques, but you ain't going to do that all the time. You ain't going to walk down the street going, you want to breathe natural again, dropping that breath. So that's why you start loosening up those energies in the body, so the body can go back to its natural state and the breath is dropped. Like I said, we're breathing energy. One time, a friend of mine, I said, how your family doing? He said, my mother passed away, which is sad. But they said we stayed with her to the last breath. The breath is energy. Mm-hmm. But when you gain more energy into the body, this is what we're talking about. Then you don't have to go through the nostrils no more, because even the nostrils still cause death. That's a whole nother lesson.
Thank you, Elitom. I know you're making us laugh. Some of us are chuckling here, and I find that nourishing as well. Do we have more questions? Yes, here.
You mentioned it at the beginning, the microcosmic, the Qigong microcosmic circulation. How important is it as a complementary technique, and how wide is needed to be?
Now say that one more time, or the last one. How important?
I'm going to rephrase it just to see if I understood this correctly. This is Alex, and he would like to know the microcosmic orbit practice that you've mentioned. How fundamental is that to like a pranic path, would you say?
Oh, man. That is, the microcosmic orbit is one of the most powerful meditations I know. All of them is powerful. But see, the body is like a dipole antenna. Your spinal cord got energy coming up and down it naturally. So when you're going into the spinal cord with your mind and your breath, opening up these channels consistently over a period of time, you will have some fabulous results. Fabulous.
Right. The other part of his question was he wanted to know how wide.
How?
At the beginning, it's narrow, and he wants to know how wide is this expanse can it be?
Oh, well, it don't end. It don't end. See, how should I say? We got more abilities coming up. A Breatharian ain't that high pinnacle. We got more abilities. That's why you don't quit even when you're at a certain level. This is a lifestyle because we're talking about, since this light is all in the atmosphere and your cells and your molecules is using it, we're talking about taking the body up in the light. We ain't even talking about going to the grave. We ain't talking about laying the body down. Nah, we're taking it with us. It's merging. Holistic. How wide? Right, you get it as, now check the, look how I'll say this. Oh man, this is good. You should want to work your energy and take it to the furthest you can in this lifetime. That's what should be on the mind. It's all about the light. And actually, like they say, don't chase the power. The power will come looking for you. Just work with the light. We don't even know our full potential yet. Everything has its infancy. Some are a little ahead than others, but we as a collective, and this door is opened up, you should want to take your energy field to the furthest you can in this lifetime. Like they say, Buddha's, just in the writing, his energy field was like 200 miles long, which is what, 150 kilos or something. But anyway, yeah, we should beat that right now. There ain't no put down. With this information. Now, I hope I answered that.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Elitom. Just repeating, take it as far as we can in this lifetime. You got a bunch of yeses and yeah and amens in this room here. We're with you. So we have any other questions from our live audience here? Yeah. Okay. This is another Alex, beautiful soul here at the festival.
Hey, Elitom, thank you. As you mentioned before, you were saying that you are trekking Africa at the moment. So,
right.
So I was wondering if you had discovered some interesting stuff during this travel. Thank you.
Well, right now, I'm close to the equator. And it does have not so much the heat, because actually it's hotter up in the north now than it is where I'm at. Y'all got the heat wave. However, the radiation content is strong. So what's taking place is my body did have to adjust to this. It took about a couple months. But I knew it was dealing with the radiation content in the atmosphere. Being up under it constantly like that, especially I'm cultivating energy. Oh, it's just like, so that's one thing that I'm having a good time with. Is that what you're asking, or did I find anything else? Because it's all types of things.
Yeah, he's nodding, saying that's great. We have another question. I know we're just past the hour, so what? I don't even know that I want to ask you this question, but what's your energy like right now? Do you feel like we can do a few more questions, Elitom?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I could talk all day long. I could talk for days.
Awesome. Because we will just be here for a while too if we give us the space. Another question is, like a lot of us on the journey know that solid and then on the liquid nourishment has a highly emotional aspect to it as well, in terms of how we've been living, in terms of these neural pathways that the way we've used it. So what do you see is your relationship in that sense to solid and liquid food? Like, can you see a situation where you would ever at this point go back and
Nah,
try that again? Nah.
nah, no, not in that cycle. That's a serious cycle to say I want to live like that here on out. Nah. See, where are we at on this? Oh man, there was so much in that question. I had flashbacks. Anyway, like I said, once your mind get geared and you're working with the light, there's something in you that you want to keep going and see where you're going to go to next. Now, it's sort of like what I tell people, because immediately they say, I want to become a breatharian. And that should be actually the wrong question. You should be like, I want to connect with the light. Why? Because when that type of desire and expectation come out, because we think we're going to do it the way we're going to do it, it's sort of like you're in this pond of water and this ball is there and you're trying to swim to it, but the ball keep going further and further away. And that's what people do to themselves. But if you learn to lay back and relax in the pond of energy, allow the ball to come to you, because it will come at the right time when it's ready. But your main focus was, let me relax in the light. See, when I was talking about meditation and all it is relaxing. I'm telling you how to relax. They don't need no big names. Some girl told me one time,
Yeah, he's teleporting to us. So we just wait for a moment to see if his connection comes back online. We are past the hour. So if he doesn't connect back, we just psychically connect. And we just give ourselves a moment here to see if our power can bring his connection back. So yes, he is in Tanzania right now. So we're not sure sometimes the Wi-Fi connection, how that is. But we give him a few more minutes and see if he connects back. And if not, then we will close the presentation. We all thought you were gonna. Hi, Elitom.
but it's almost energy here is here we go, low energy.
We all thought you were gonna teleport over here to
us. See, that's what we're talking about. We hear these things, but the more we get light into the system, these things will become a reality. That's why you don't quit. This becomes the life.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Elitom. Just in case our connection cuts again, or we want to know if you're going to be running any more retreats. I know you're completing this trek, and I think you've got another trek in mind. But are you going to be doing any retreats anytime soon? And how can we connect with you online or connecting with you telepathically and energetically, but online in that internet world?
All right, so there's a few retreats underway now. Somebody just called me from LA saying they'll get me out there to do a retreat. And in, what's that called next to Italy? Sardinia? The island?
In
I
Greece.
did
Yes.
well, I did a retreat at last year. Is it Sardinia?
That's correct.
Well, they're calling also. So we'll see. Even though I'm into the trek, I might be in and out and pick it back up. But we got a lot of retreats coming for the future. But I'll keep you posted. And the best way to keep in touch with me is through the website, which is elitomel-amin.org. I keep everything on there. And of course, those who follow on social media, you'll hear things coming up. So we'll keep it going. Because right now I got a retreat going on online that's on my website. And everybody's coming along real good because we're cultivating, working, answering these questions. So a lot is coming out of it. So we could take the myth out of things and make it into a reality. This is what it's all about. Because sometimes there's a lot of spiritual ideas we have. We're talking it, but do we really know what it means? So we start researching into that so we can really get the true essence out of it and manifest it. Oh man, this is good. So it's just like in science, where I'd be talking a lot of science. What they are using is just different terminologies. Once you learn the terminology, you can connect what everybody's saying because it's all about energy flow again.
Thank you, Elitom. I know that I and many other people really appreciate how you break things down and simplify it for us so that it's easy to understand. And bye, Elitom.